see actually. Warrior. Hosty is warrior, it seems. And Kitkatz has warlock. So, and it's a Zoolock. Fairly standard, no new cards visible there. As well as for the warrior. We see Double Fire War Axe, which is obviously amazing against aggro.
Well, he might pull off a foursome here.
I don't think so.
You know that the handlock is making a huge appearance in the ladder. So when you think about the matchups, it might actually make sense maybe to risk it that you're playing against the slower kind of warlock. But I don't think Hosty will risk it here.
You can mulligan away one Fiery War Axe, that is fine. If you're expecting to play against handlock or predicting it, but you cannot take the risk of mulliganing away both Fiery War Axes.
So he played it really safe because he opted to leave both Execute and the Fiery War Axe, which means he's prepared for both archetypes of decks.
That's right.
But it is Zoo, and a really powerful opener, which will be Undertaker, being guarded by the Voidwalker, which will then be buffed by the Haunted Creeper, but it will be still in range of the Fiery War Axe, which is super important in this matchup.
We see a new Goblins vs. Gnomes card in Kitkatz's hand, the Shield Maiden, definitely a strong addition that many Control players have been waiting for ever since it became previewed. I mean, definitely a strong card in the Control where it enables Shield Slams, just like Shield Block would, and it's kind of fulfills the same role as Guardian of Kings does in Paladin Control deck.
Lockwood Gnome has found his place in Zoo, and this makes a lot of sense because if you're playing Undertaker, Zoo was lacking a 1-drop that could have been coined out on turn 1 alongside Leper Gnome. So it's kind of a similar setup to Hunters some time ago with Web Spheres, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, definitely a lot more versatility when it comes to buffing your Undertaker. Warlock has been lacking in that regard at some point. I mean, just having more Death Rattle minions in general is always beneficial.
True. And also Shield Slam is gaining some value in this kind of warriors because of including of the Shield Maiden. Because you have more options to actually get armor, so the Shield Slam you are not forced to keep on the shield blocks in the early game. You can always now play the shield block on turn 3, turn 4, even if you don't have the shield slams, right?
Yeah, that's right. Even though in this matchup you don't really need a big shield slam anyway, considering you're playing at Zoo, most of the time 0 power plus shield slam is enough to kill a minion.
True. Also true. I think Warrior is kinda lacking a card like Shield Maiden because it's still a huge threat to the board. It's a 5/5, and the life gain. It is actually also funny that Warrior is the best healing class in the game. Well, when you're carding 3 of life, then maybe not. But Shield Block is like a free mana card that is healing and cycling your deck, which is really a great value if you compare it to like Healing Touch, which just it just only heals yourself, so it doesn't really doesn't move your deck forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it can only heal your hero, so you cannot heal minions with it, or give armor or whatever.
Oh, okay, that's a plus. I didn't even thought about that, but both cards that are healing the warrior are actually cantrips, which means that they have some value inside those heals. Like you get a card from the shield block, you get a really big creature from the Shield Maiden, so Shield Maiden will be making a huge appearance in this metagame. And we got also news about the bans. So Kitkatz banned the Warlock, and Hosty, look at this, he banned the Warrior.
Yeah, definitely what I predicted. I mean, Kitkatz is known for that warrior, and Hosty doesn't want any part of it. Now, Kitkatz is actually facing an interesting decision. He could just play the Doomguard here and start smashing face, but maybe he wants to get a bigger board going. He decides to go for the Doomguard though, discarding 2 cards that are not going to apply much pressure by themselves. But getting rid of the Nerubian Egg is actually kind of painful because it's good protection against mass removal, like Brawl.
You think Kitkatz is, Hosty is still playing Brawl in his warrior deck?
I'm pretty sure Brawl is still seeing play. It's still the best way to clear the board for a warrior. And now Kitkatz is in a very tough spot. He did not expect Hosty to be able to deal with this Doomguard so easily. I mean, after all, we've seen 2 Shield Slams golden already, and then that execute with Taskmaster, that was just crucial right there.
Well, Trogzor isn't such a huge threat apart from the 6/6 body here, because Zoo is only playing, well, probably...
That,
oh wait!
That spare part will not be
That spare part, man! It's also a spell!
Exactly, that spare part will not play unless Trogzor is gone.
Well, this is painful.
He can silence the Trogzor though, right now with the owl, so that's a good answer. He decides to not go for that just yet though. Interesting.
This is the this is the end of the game, right? Warrior's at 23 points of HP. He gets 2 big creatures on board.
Yeah, at this point I agree. Warrior is definitely in a commanding position in health, board, and quality of cards in the hand as well.
And he has a taunt in his hand. So whatever will Kitkatz play, apart from a Doomguard, which has charge, will be not able to get through 2 turns in a row.
I'm pretty sure there... Actually there might be. I don't know. Paladin cannot really make use out of the bombs that well, I would say. Because Paladin has no synergies with the bombs, I would say. You need some good direct damage to synergize with the bombs so you can finish off whatever the bombs damaged.
True.
Paladin doesn't really have that.
But it's still a powerful creature, just for 7 minutes.
But maybe there's better options. For example, Trogzor is pretty sick in Paladin too, I would say.
True. So we are seeing some different kind of Paladin, I think. Kitkatz has already Seal of Light in his hand, which is kinda like a one-time Fury War Axe, well, almost, and which is also important that he did draw a Big Game Hunter here, which will have always a target against the warrior, but right now he's in a really tough spot because the Taskmaster is able to kill any of his minions, and he is being pushed here into playing the 1/1s just to clear the Taskmaster. But I think the Taskmaster will be not being sacrificed for the 1/1. Yep, he used this weapon, and I'm not sure. I would have used the maybe I could have used the piloted shredder last turn, but then it will be easily traded if the two-mana drop.
The piloted shredder was definitely not a good move there because it would have been easily traded by Fireworks, and then 2-drop would have most likely died to the Taskmaster. I mean, Hosty did not want to lose. Kitkatz did not want to lose that advantage that early.
True. There's a definitely different Paladin from what we have seen from Powder and Colento. Look, he has 2 equalities, 1 Blessing of Wisdom.
Yeah, 2 equalities is a staple. But Blessing of Wisdom is a card that is curious right here. Not sure. I mean, I guess it's supposed to deal with a minion in the early game.
Maybe he's...
For example, like you can put it on an Undertaker and then the Undertaker is less likely to attack.
I'm not sure. It's kinda... I wanted to find like a position that when you can play the Blessing of Wisdom, but I think I would have been... if I'm playing a token Paladin, I would have included a Cult Master instead. If that's for you to draw some cards, because when you combo it with Master for Battle, you will actually draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, sure, but it's not about the card draw per se. It's just to deal with early aggression. I would think.
In this case, you are not playing a token Paladin, right? Because if you are worrying about the early game, then you are not playing any minions at all in the early game, right? So this might be a control Paladin, and we are seeing Farseer here, which means that this is definitely a control Paladin.
Yeah. It's definitely more value and late game oriented. I mean, we see the Big Game Hunter, very high impact late game minion, and already got its value by killing the Baron Geddon. Kitkat definitely has a lot of burst in his hand, that's for sure. I mean, he has the means necessary to kill the Paladin very fast. It's going to be hard for it's going to be hard for Kitkatz to actually survive this, because I mean, there's just so much damage. The Deathbite on the board right now will set up a Grommash. The Grommash can be even played next turn, actually, with the coin and Taskmaster.
True. Well, this is a tough spot. He has to use the consecration here and trade his true silver champion for that Senjin, or maybe he will sacrifice the. Now the Paladin Shredder has a different goal here. Also, which is important, he's playing 2 Iron Beak Owls, and also he's not playing Spellbreakers, I think, because of the 2 equalities he has in his deck.
The reason why Owl is so good in Paladin instead of Spellbreaker is simply because you just want it for the silence, first of all, so you can do other stuff in the meantime, but also it's like one of the best answers to Undertaker.
True.
Paladin has a hard time dealing with Undertakers that get out of control fast, and Owl is like one of the best ways to deal with that.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely right. And this kind of play is actually setting up lethal for next turn.
That's right. I mean, Kitkatz needs a taunt here, and he gets it. He has the Tyrion. Yeah, that is like the perfect taunt that he could get in this situation. But we already see Black Knight in Hosty's hand. He has the solution.
He has to. I think Kitkatz here has to deal with the Alexstrasza and then set up for a lethal next turn.
That is crazy actually, because not only does he have to deal with the potential Grommash, he also has to deal with the Alexstrasza that is on the board right now.
But Equality and Tyrion are fitting perfectly into the curve.
Oh, but also look at Hosty's health. I didn't even realize it at first.
Yeah,
but
that's what I said. It's really hard to pull off this. And now, if he wants to survive, when you play the Black Knight, you kill the Tyrion, your opponent gets the weapon, so you will be at 3 points of health, and you still have to deal with a creature on board. Even if you clear every single creature from this kind of board, you're still being threatened by a drop from the piloted Shredder.
Hosty needs to gain armor here, and I think the best way to do it is just use Armorsmith and Taskmaster just to get as much armor as possible.
Well,
as well as the Black Knight.
You can play the Black Knight, Armorsmith, and then you can swing with your weapon, and play before swinging. You can play also the Taskmaster, which will get you 1 point of armor, and you can kill off the piloted Shredder. Right? He
decides to go for the armor up maybe instead. We will see what the 2-drop will be first of all. It's a mana Wraith, and he instead decided to armor up instead of playing Taskmaster. Well, so he was forced to play armor up because he couldn't play the Taskmaster after attacking.
So that's 7 points of HP that Kitkatz has, and this means... Is this end of the game? Well, kinda, I think.
Yeah, there is no taunt for... I mean, he can still draw a card with Blessing of Wisdom. That's what he has to do here.
Yeah, he has to go phase with the mana Wraith. I mean, we don't know his deck, so we are kinda guessing here. But if he has something that will deal... How many points of damage he has to deal? Oh man, that's a lot. That's 5 points of damage.
A big taunt like Sludge Belcher might also help in this situation. So Blessing of Wisdom has to be played because right now he's sure to just die with the 7 health that he has.
This is... Well, if Kitkatz has any taunts left in his deck, maybe he has Defender of Argus, or maybe... what else? Cockhammer? That will actually make your minion a taunt. Farseer. No, that's not enough. That's definitely not enough.
Yeah, that Grommash. Oh well, wait a second. Actually,
What?
oh, never mind. Okay, I was like focusing on the Grommash play, but
You
Yeah,
are focusing on the
Grommash
mana
was-
breath, right?
yeah, I totally forgot about mana, right? But Hosty still had another way of dealing lethal here, despite mana right being on the board. So
Apart from the Fear Works, that's the only answer to the early Undertakers.
we see Hosty definitely being the favorite in this matchup. I mean, Control Warrior is definitely very well suited against Hunter, especially with the Shield Maiden.
And look at this. He's playing Senjins, he's playing Sludge Belchers, and he's playing Shield Maidens.
Yeah.
So he has so many ways of not only protecting his hero but also gaining life in the process. It's insane.
The only bad thing here is for Hosty a little bit that his hand is a little bit clunky. His first play is on turn 5 right now, which might be too late.
True.
We could see
It is a
Kitkatz
weapon.
snowballing this Undertaker out of control.
Drawing Roguebiter this turn would be so huge. Oh, that's not a
Shieldblock is definitely a draw though that is worth playing right now.
Shield Block into Shield Slam. That would be really cool.
That is the dream. Oh, it doesn't
Oh,
get it. That
that's-
fight would have been so good this turn if he had it. Oh man,
Arcane Shot. Oh man.
that's really aggressive.
That's also really weird. Why he's playing Arcane Shot in...
Because there's Jeeves.
Alright, so he wants to empty a hand as soon as possible because he has a rifle engine right in the form of G. And normally it's a symmetric card that applies to opponent, but in this case...
Yeah, that's your opponent is just as fast at emptying his hand as you
Exactly.
are.
So when you're playing against a druid which can empty his hand with innervates and wild growth,
Yeah.
his hand will be really empty fast. Then the juice is also playing against you. But in this case, this is a really great card.
It's not necessarily the case though. Like even if, for example, if we take the druid example, because the cards that you draw with Jeeves,
Will also be used to finish.
you.
your
Oh
right?
yeah, you the cards that you draw that they cannot necessarily be played all at the same time.
True.
With
And-
this, an aggressive deck will always get more advantage out of Jeeves than a control deck, because you can play all the cards and just refill your hand constantly.
So we can actually see us reverse sweep here if the hunter will pull off a win, and it feels so like it, right?
Yeah, I mean the Jeeves is definitely what's gonna decide this matchup in the end. If even if the warrior is able to deal with everything that Hunter puts on the board right now, Jeeves
Shield
will
Maiden.
draw just the cards that Hunter needs to finish his game off.
Wow, that's Shield Maiden, man. Look at this. If that would be a Slash Brusher, he would be still at 6 HP, right? So, an example, a Beast with Kill Command would actually kill him. And now, he's still in kinda a safe spot, because next turn is Belcher with Hero Power Up, which puts him back on 9 points of health, and he gained some board control. So, this is really a huge change in the board state.
What actually also hurts Kitkatz a lot right now is that he already has an explosive trap on the board. Therefore, he can not empty his hand completely for the Jeeves.
You're right.
That's really rough.
And he is forced here to play the Hunter's Mark on one of the creatures, probably the Belcher here.
Yeah, softening that Belcher up for explosive trap or the Jeeves.
And Hosty still doesn't know which trap it is. If he feels like this is a freezing trap, and he was playing against freezing trap the turn before, so he might actually attack first with the Sludge Belcher, I think. Well, he has the Death Bite, okay, never mind. He can clear the board. He can kill
All
the
that
Jeeves.
Hosty has to do is survive this one more turn, and then Alex Straza's gonna heal himself back up to 15. That is gonna be the report one.
That was a really close match in the early game, but now it's just turning around, and the warrior is making the comeback here. Still not attacking, so he's playing around actually both explosive trap and freezing trap, because if that would be also the explosive trap, it will put him at 6 points of HP, so really close of actually dying from kill command or whatever.
From anything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this game is still not over, but once that Alexstrasza hits the board, it's probably over already, yeah. Because after that point, there's no way that with an Armor Smith on the board and 15 health, the Hunter will ever be able to do enough damage.
This is a tough spot for the Hunter. He has redundant cards, because he already has a weapon, and he's playing Glaive Zook, so and Zook with and really play chargers with sludge build, and for the a little slime there, which will be protecting your hero from any. Zero here from Hosty. He knows that that's the end of the game with additional 3 points of armor. He brought himself up to 21 points of health. This is not winnable at all.
There is the kill command, but it's too little too late for Kitkatz.
You can only deal 5, 7, 9 points of damage here.
There's a lot of
well,
burst
11.
in Kitkatz's hand, but it's not enough to do 21 damage, that's for sure.
And he doesn't have a beast.
Right now he's just softening up the board for another explosive trap, but it's just fighting a losing battle right now, because in the late game, Warrior will just have too many big threats.
So this will be 10 points of damage going to Kitkatz's face, with the Grommash being activated by the explosive trap that Kitkatz played himself. Yeah, that's the end of the game. 22 points of HP at the end of the game. From 6 points, well, sorry, from 7 points, that was the